everybody. Good morning. Hope you're doing well today. We are here with Graham Burch, episode number 6 of Cummings Cast. Here we go. Graham, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for the invite. It's an honor.
I appreciate it. Graham just told me he spent some extra time in the dressing room
In
today.
the closet, right? Wouldn't look good for you guys.
As did I as well. I was like trying to get the ear hairs off.
Got a haircut yesterday.
Oh, good for
All
you.
of them,
That's
actually,
good.
yeah.
All right, I'm very excited to have Graham here. Graham's got a great story. He's a great guy. So Graham, just give me a little bit of your background in terms of where'd you grow up?
Yeah, so kind of born and raised in Baltimore County.
Okay.
My parents' first home was in Loch Raven Village, and then when I was about 7 or 8, we moved to the Perry Hall area, actually now called Nottingham, and grew up there. Went to Calvert Hall, relatable to a loyal boy, I suppose.
Baby.
And my degree's in advertising. Went to West Virginia University. My son is actually going to go there in the fall now, following my footsteps. So really proud. And worked in corporate America for 16 years.
How old are you now?
I'm 45.
45.
I'm 45.
Okay, 47.
Yeah. All right. I got a birthday this summer. Yeah.
Middle-aged men these days that we are. Oh, God.
Relatable, right?
Yeah.
So after college came home, I worked at the Baltimore Sun. That was my first job. Worked there for 10 years. Kind of rose up the ranks. And
wow.
When I started working at the Sun, that's even before I was comfortable buying things online. So it was a different time. And one of the jobs I had at the Sun is I worked in the real estate category, and I got to meet a lot of the realtors. Resale was one of the categories that I worked with. So a lot of agents that are now with the brokerage. I used to sell advertising too.
Gotcha.
I had a slow year in 2008, and I actually took the real estate licensing classes. I ended up not really having a plan on how to utilize that, real estate license. So work picked up, and I stayed in the advertising path.
Gotcha.
Fast forward to a number of years, I guess it was 2017. I knew John Kantorski through a personal friend. And,
JK.
Would go to his client appreciation events, and I was there with my family, and my ex-wife now said, why don't you look at real estate again?
Yeah.
And recognizing that I had the support of a spouse at the time to make that switch in careers, I did. I started out on a team. I was with John for about 2.5 years, and very grateful for his mentoring and leadership. And
and then you were out of this office in Perry Hall.
I was out of the Perry Hall office, right?
So
and then
with him for
my
2.5
family and I
years.
moved to Fallston 5-ish years ago.
Gotcha.
And so I made the switch then to the Bel Air office. It was a little closer to where my daily travels were taking me.
Broke all away from John on the team.
The baby bird flew the nest, and went on my own.
John is a great trainer. He's big into Buffini's sort of system.
He insisted that I do the Buffini. In fact, I didn't have $400 when I started with him, and he paid for me to do the Buffini program.
Wow, you didn't have $400?
I didn't have $400. I had kids. I had a family. I was, and I just told him I couldn't, and he's like, I'll do it. I'll take care of it. So a lot of gratitude for that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So he kind of got you started in the Brian Buffini's sort of system, which is build your business by referral.
By referral, right.
And then so he gave you all that sort of training, which we can kind of touch back to. So you went out on your own. And then, and when you went out on your own, you were really, really, really kind of cresting. You were really, really focused. So I feel like that year, I remember we talked about you had a goal of selling like 10 million in your fourth year or something.
My third year in business,
yeah. And you hit that goal, correct?
I hit that goal. So early on in my career, Michelle Gordon, I saw her sitting in the Perry Hall conference room upstairs. She told me that if you can make it to your third year, that's when things start to hit. And I never lost sight of that. And that was very inspirational early on. So Michelle, thank you.
Yeah.
And
that's awesome.
And then it did hit. And I wanted to do things. I just bought a new house, and I'd felt momentum in my life, for the first time really in my business, and I was just trying to ride that wave,
Yeah. So you got to 10 million.
Got to 10 million.
And now I want to talk a little bit more personal level stuff here.
Sure.
And then we'll go back into real estate with Buffini and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But so you hit 10 million, and then sort of, can you tell me a little bit about the personal life stuff, I guess?
Sure. So I guess even prior to hitting 10 million, when I'd found real estate, I'd recognized that for the first time in my professional life, I'd found happiness professionally. I'd recognized early on the ability to make a decent living. I found that I was supported both by the team that I was on as well as the leader. I was really tired of the what have you done for me lately environment in corporate America. So coming to you and your brokerage and John, it was just completely different. So having happiness, I felt inspired to stop drinking. My ex-wife challenged me to go 60 days without drinking, and I took her challenge to prove that I didn't have a problem. About 5 days before the 60 days expired, I recognized that I had momentum in my life, in my business, my relationships, my marriage.
Yeah.
And I decided,
what was your drinking like? Daily drinking?
I woke up every day with a hangover. I drank daily.
You drank at night?
I came from a family where my parents both drank every day, and
Yeah.
like whether I had a good day, I'd celebrate with a drink or two, or four or five, or
Yeah.
a bad day. There was always a reason to drink. So
Yeah. It was more after hours. You weren't like an alcoholic all day long.
not all day long. Although working from home, in this business, you meet a client out for happy hour, and that tends to go. So it was becoming where I wasn't in control as much as I wanted to
Yeah,
be.
yeah.
And it was going from beer to then vodka. I was going through more than 2 handles of vodka a week. That was just what I drank in the home.
Yeah.
So it was an issue. And once I kind of got rid of alcohol, I was kind of no longer standing in my own way. And I felt I had a whole world in front of me to go tackle. It
Yeah.
was really just a matter of learning how to reuse that time. The time that I would have spent drinking, I spent doing other things. Getting back in shape. I was a 300-pound dude when I
Yeah.
first came to the
Yes.
brokerage when I was a drinker.
You were lean and mean compared to those days. For
And
sure.
so I had to do some things because it wasn't sustainable. And really,
Yeah.
sustainability has become one of my favorite words, whether it's my personal life, my business. Like, what I'm doing, is it sustainable? And can I sustain it? Both good things and bad things. Because things that aren't sustainable, they're not going to last, right?
Yeah.
And as I enter my mid-40s, late 40s, whatever 40s, sustainability and doing things that are going to be long-lasting, have positive impacts, it's where my focus is starting
Yeah.
to shift.
I mean, alcohol is tricky. I mean, I don't think people recognize how tricky alcohol can be to your personal life, your business life, and basically your entire life. And there's some people that can handle alcohol very, very well and can stay steady eddies and drink very little or drink whatever amount. And I have no problem drinking, but it definitely can be tricky. And you grow up like college, it's like, hey, like this is part of like the social world that you live in.
Right.
And then you think like, well, after college, you stop drinking, you have a family and everything. But then you actually get out of college, you get into your 30s, you're like, oh, hold on, no, everybody's still drinking. I guess I'm still drinking. I still want to go out and meet people on a Thursday night or Wednesday night occasionally. And of course, on the weekends, blah, blah. And it kind of sort of can creep up on you where you're like, I really like this alcohol. I really want another, it definitely is something that I always caution everybody that it is such a drug. It's a socially acceptable drug, but it's such a drug that and it's different for each individual.
It totally
my
is.
girlfriend's now like a year and a half sober. She just hit the other day.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
She
to
was
her.
never a huge major drinker, but who had grown up in like that drinking culture. Same thing, like her parents, my parents, all drinkers, and she's definitely is helped me a ton because I've not sober, but I am really, really limited my alcohol consumption, and it has made me sleep so much better, lose weight, feel better, more motivated, be able to handle stressful situations better, not snap on my kids as quickly as I used to,
yeah.
or whatever. Like so many things I can trace back to just like cooling it with the alcohol as much as I used to.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, my freshman year in college, West Virginia University was the #1 party school in the nation.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I wore that like a badge of honor.
Yeah.
And then I carried that mindset for the next 20 years,
Yeah.
And thankfully, I had somebody, I had people in my life that cared enough about
Yeah,
me
yeah.
to snap out of that.
Right.
I have no problem with alcohol or people that drink. I've totally made my peace with it.
Yeah.
The one thing I would say is like the biggest trick that alcohol plays on you is making you think you need it to be happy.
Yeah.
So like once I've allowed the possibility of doing things a different way into my mind, it just opened up a refreshing world of,
Right.
of new possibilities.
Right.
So
So we will turn this back to real estate, but also you went through another personal situation too that I just wanted to touch
Yeah,
on
so,
as well. So you came out of like having a really good year, decided to cut out alcohol, and then the bottom sort of drops out again. I feel like, right?
kind of COVID hit, which kind of I lost some momentum, and then I went through a divorce unexpectedly. My ex-wife, and I, we've been split for about 4 years or so now.
And you guys have a pretty friendly relationship.
We're best
though.
friends.
Yeah.
She came out, right? And
Yeah.
I can't hate anybody for being who they are, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to be there to
You guys have
support
two
her.
children, and they're how old now?
We have 2 kids, and I have an adult child. I have an 18-year-old child,
Yeah,
and my
wow.
daughter will be 17 in August. So
Is she senior in high school?
junior in high school for
Junior.
her. Senior's my son. They're both at Falston High School.
Okay.
Yeah.
They figured out if they're going to college or not.
So he's going to go to West Virginia.
Yeah,
He's
you
going to
said
study
that, yeah.
finance, and she's looking to go to nursing school.
Oh, nice.
So,
Yeah, my sister.
they got their mom's brains, which I'm appreciative of.
Nursing's a great profession. I feel like my sister's a nurse. You can travel, like you can not travel, but you can go to a different state if you ever have to move and find a hospital where they typically need nurses. I think.
Totally.
So I love that profession. I think that's a great profession. I'm pushing my daughter that direction. I feel like, but so divorce, I guess, sort of threw a monkey wrench in your business.
It hit me hard,
Yeah.
like just like the side effects of the depression and just the unexpected I didn't see myself being a 40-some-year-old guy as a single dude having to again reinvent himself, right? Like I felt like between quitting drinking and losing weight, I had done some level and changing careers really from advertising, corporate America to real estate. Like that was 3 major things that I had done to reinvent myself.
Yeah.
And now again, I have to find myself as a single guy.
Yeah.
I have this lifestyle that was created on two incomes that's now just me trying to figure out. I stay in the house. So
yeah, I don't think people recognize how emotionally and complex financially when you have children, not children, divorces can be. It seems like, oh, you're going through a divorce, but when you're actually in it, it's a very tough period in your life.
And like I've gotten some business from people that have gone through divorce as well since mine, and like I almost play the role of therapist as much as I do realtor.
Yeah.
And just
I feel like I could write a book. So if you ever anybody ever needs divorce advice, not that I wish it on anybody, yeah, I feel like between the two of us,
right?
I learned a lot through all that.
Like, I've learned so
about
much,
like life and myself, and yeah. Sorry, go on.
No, it's given me a chance to really become the man that I want to be. So when I reposition myself out there romantically, as well as just as I continue to take myself out there to my clients and friends, like who do I want to be, right? What's important to me? What's my brand? That's one thing I love about this business is it's an opportunity for me to take who I am as a man and my beliefs and values and combine them in with what I want my business to look like. And like right down to my business logo, it's mountaintops that could be roofing trusses, that could be mountaintops, right? Like I love being able to incorporate myself and my business and just making them kind of like one like integrated, intertwined brand.
Are we still working towards that mountain house we talked about years
ago? The divorce has set us back a few years.
Yeah,
yes, that is still the goal.
That's like me with the beach house. Beach house goals, but the divorce set me back at least a decade. But yeah, I said to everybody back in the day, it's like, work towards something that you have a dream of. Down the road, and after that speech at the past Cummings Con years ago, Graham sent me an email that said, my goal was to have like a little mountain house somewhere hidden way up on the hills, and when I accomplish that goal, no matter how many years it is from now, you're going to be the first person that I send that picture to or whatever. So
that's right.
I like it. And it doesn't need to be, it could be 65, 70 years old. And hey, if you don't ever decide to do it, you decide to do something else with your financials, your time, that's great as well. But
I'll
I
send
love
you a
that
picture,
you
whatever it is.
Yeah, I love that you like set that goal.
Thank you.
All right. So going through some tough times, obviously, and then just, digging out. So obviously your business took a big dip. No offense. We've talked about that.
Right.
I knew you were going through it. I've been through it, but I wasn't, I'm not one to micromanage and be like, you got to get out there and sell some houses, but, kind of let you go through it. But, you emerged and you sent me an email and said, I'm good, Dave. I've emerged. My head's back in it. So obviously you went through a period, and then I guess tell me about like, what have you been working on now? I mean, I love your social media. I love how you position everything that you do as a very like professional level of like how you write things, your comments. You're very much always sort of following the sort of Buffini mentality of like, giving advice and trying to give value to people in your way. So just give me some stuff that's been working for you. What have you been doing and all that type of stuff.
So I've been trained to do the Buffini system. It's probably more like a Burch Fini system where I'm not as consistent as I need to be. And right. I was just having a conversation with John Bailey before I came here, talking about consistency being key to the business.
How's
love John. He's great. We have a deal together right now. Love John.
Okay. All right, good.
And
I thank you for sending that CNC title, whoever you did. I noticed that came across.
Oh, absolutely.
I love it when I see two Cummings agents. And then it came into the tech. I'm like, oh, that's nice. Everybody's hopefully going to get along and have a great transaction. And the clients will be like, this place is great. Like my list at my house with somebody, and Cummings came along, and the title, everything worked out. Boom.
I've got a couple deals with CNC title right now.
Thanks.
It's been fantastic.
We don't need to go down there. But thank you.
Okay. So I would say one of the things that I've always had a difficult time doing is self-promoting, right? I would rather let my actions speak for themselves and hope other people notice and not feel the need to say, look at me, pat myself on the back. However, I do feel some level of necessary evil. So I think the way I try to get around that is I try to have fun with my marketing. Being an advertising major, like I am rather brand and image conscious. So I try to have a consistency with my messaging, with my marketing. I try to have some level of elegance to whatever degree I can control that. I try to put some thought and pour some effort into my listing notes. I did kind of blow off the dust from the wallet and pay for a Canva membership. And I really tried to step up the messaging and the marketing that I'm putting out there. I've never been one to really reinvent the wheel. I've copied and taken ideas from a lot of other agents. Melissa Barnes is one that I've probably never even told her this, but I've taken a lot of your ideas, Melissa. Like she uses herself in her images and just uses really sharp photography and good looking like presentation of her listings. And I've tried to kind of apply that same principle and approach to some of my marketing.
And you've gotten positive feedback from your friends and clients about your Canva social media marketing?
I have. I just had a listing that had a pool, and we got some multiple offers. We were fortunate in that regard. And I superimposed a picture of myself in the pool, just saying, swimming in offers, just trying to have a little bit of fun, a little bit of creativity, and also trying to, remind other people I could do this for you too, kind of with my marketing.
Like, I got multiple offers on this property.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I try to use my story at the top of the Facebook page to measure engagement, and I'll use those more times to pat myself on the back, under contract, that sort of thing. Whereas in my actual scroll and my actual page itself, I try to do more value presentation and presenting of new listings with great pictures and great marketing. And I try for every one business post to have 2 to 3 personal posts.
Okay.
Lately, that formula has not been working out well.
All right, so you do have like a mindset of a formula.
I try not to bludgeon people with "look at me, I'm a realtor," because most people know that. But at the same time, top of mind awareness is everything to me.
Yeah.
And
do you have a schedule on how often you want to post each week? Like 3 times a week?
2 to 3.
2 to 3.
Depending on what I have going on.
All right.
And trying to find that consistency. Another thing that I did, so going back to my corporate America days, the last year, I've really tried. I had a network of LinkedIn with about 800 contacts.
I was going to ask you, so your Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, any
three.
other platforms?
That's
those
it.
3.
Right, those 3. I should probably do more. So I have added listing videos as part of my listing services.
Do you have your own sort of YouTube page yet?
I have not done the YouTube page yet. That's probably next.
Yeah.
Mike Kay in this office does a lot with that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm meaning to pick his brain on that as well.
Mm-hmm.
But video is definitely where it's at. I did I had a listing, a nice single family home in Perry Hall. I did a video that I shot myself, and I used my iPhone video movie maker app. I've had over 9,000 views. It had 11 shares.
Views.
I don't know 9,000 people, and but
I don't either.
It's been a great way to just kind of get my name and my marketing and how I do things out
you
there.
shot that on your iPhone.
On my iPhone, and just doing a pan this way, a pan that way. Maybe a series of 30 different videos, and then at the end you could stitch them all together. You could edit them. You could put a music bed over it. You could put in
you taught yourself how to do all the editing on the iPhone?
I shot my house first and just spent some time, and then I had a listing that I thought needed a little bit of extra love last year, and I tried it. I put a toe in the water, and the response blew me away. And you gain things, you try things, you throw a piece of spaghetti against the wall, you're not sure what's going to stick, and when you find something that does, you just double down on it.
Yeah, okay, so that's where.
So that was kind of how video and listing videos came to be. I don't do a lot of myself for the space for radio in the videos, but I just try to feature the properties mostly.
Gotcha. All right, so social media, Canva, teaching yourself videos. I love all that, like digging into getting it all done yourself, saving yourself money, obviously, too.
Going through the rebuild process, saving money where I can has been critical for me.
Yeah, gotcha. And then to go touch back on Buffini, so that's where you kind of got started with the building your business by referral. Are you still in that system?
I am. So I don't necessarily
use the Buffini's referral maker CRM.
I pay for it. I don't use it like I should.
Okay. All right.
I actually have an Excel spreadsheet that I do.
Okay.
I use
Everybody loves their spreadsheets in this brokerage.
I'm old school. I'm the oldest 45-year-old guy you'll ever meet. I have not gone to technology willingly. I use my cell phone for all of my reminders. So if I say we spoke today,
you are using tech though. You're on platforms. You're creating your own videos.
Okay.
You're doing Canva. You've got the silhouette cut out. I call it the silhouette when you cut out your picture and put it in the corner.
So the iPhone allows you to do all of that.
Yeah. So you're doing all that. So you can't say that you're not doing some tech.
I appreciate it. Well, thank you for
You're not a crazy CRM guy, but the Buffini stuff.
The calls, notes, the pop-bys, the client events. I did an event last fall at my home. I backed to the park. I have some land and some trees.
I've been to one of your client events.
That's right. You have.
Yeah. It's got great little woods, little paths.
So I called my event Parkside Yoga. Yoga has had just the most amazing impact on my life, and it was something I thought I could add value to my friends and people in my network, and then also promote my business. So I hired one of the instructors from the studio that I go to.
Nice.
And she came out.
Hot yoga?
Hot yoga,
Bikram, Vinyasa Flow.
So it's Vinyasa Flow, yeah.
Yeah.
I started October 3rd of 2023.
I got my Wednesday night yoga class tonight that I
go
to.
Okay.
My girlfriend teaches it.
I go 6 days a week.
You're going 6 days a week?
It has taught me the concept of
Vinyasa
mind. Yeah, I put that work in.
Okay.
It keeps my mind straight.
Yeah.
And allows me to eat a cookie or two at night or a piece of cake.
I go to a yoga sculpt class on Sundays, and sometimes Dorsey Campbell from our Ruxin office is in there. It's a little embarrassing because I'm there with 2-pound weights.
Okay.
Trying to keep it ripped, but
I do 75-minute yoga every Sunday morning at 10:30.
Okay. Yeah. That's my Sunday morning thing. Yeah. So you've been doing a lot of yoga. So you brought the yoga instructor to your house.
I brought her to my house.
And you
I
got
brought
your
clients to my house.
and your database.
I
and
did like a little
friends.
yogurt parfait bar afterwards, just to have something
How many
healthy.
people did you have show up?
I had like 21 or 22 people come.
And you just do it like on your front yard?
I did it in my back lawn,
okay.
I just manicured it, just mowed it.
Yeah.
I had the leaf blower out right before people came,
yeah.
so there was no morning dew, right?
Sure.
And people shared, they posted on Facebook, thanked me.
Gotcha.
And as a
It's
result,
like a different type of client event.
it totally is, right?
Yeah.
Like,
instead of going to a bar or whatever.
It's me. It's authentically me, and
Yeah.
it's something that I take and I believe so strongly in trying to take it to my people.
Yeah,
right.
6
So
days a week. Good for you. Man.
yoga has taught me about mindfulness, right? And my personal goal, not even business wise, but my personal goal for 2024 was to soften my inner critic, because I would just beat myself up. Like, that's what I would use to drive myself to have success. But at the end of the day, I was just murdering myself. So yoga,
This world that we're in is definitely, it's very, everybody can see what everybody else is doing. You can look at the multiple lists and find out how much they've sold or not sold. So
Right.
it's definitely kind of like, sometimes you always feel like you're keeping up with the Joneses.
right.
Like when you're in the neighborhood, like, oh, we got to put an addition on because the Joneses put an addition on. Like this real estate world can be a bit of a rat race, and it can almost burn people out.
If you're
And I
going to
always
get pounded on all day long, you can't pound on yourself, right?
Yeah.
That's what I finally learned.
Yeah.
So like softening my inner critic, and then this year I've changed and carried a new goal to trying to release other people the expectations I have for them, right? And just trying not to assign expectations to people or situations or things, and just trying to really focus on what I can control.
Yeah.
And business, personal.
Yeah. All right.
Everything.
So you're doing client events, and then you say you're doing Popeyes. Are you finding success with that?
I have. I had a listing a year ago where my client's father passed away. He said the main reason that he called me, he knows a bunch of other realtors, is every time he walked in his garage, he had a bottle of windshield wiper fluid with my tag on it. That still had a John Kantorski team tag on it. It was a rather old bottle of windshield wiper fluid. But
Thanks,
he called
JK,
me
again?
Yeah, nice. And so don't underestimate the value of Popeyes, is what that reinforced with me.
Yeah, and you just sort of drop stuff at people's door every so often?
Drop at the door, or sometimes what I'll do is I'll create a text, or even I'll make something on Canva with me holding it up if I know they're not going to be home. Sometimes I'll try to go when I know they're not home so I can get more Popeyes, because I could talk if you haven't noticed.
Yeah, sure.
And so to allow me, so like I'll send a picture, hey, drop by the house, and I'll have a pre-made message that looks good, that again is authentic to my brand that I'm trying to get out there. Drop this by your house today. Hope you have a great day. Catch up soon, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
that's obviously with that one client, and hopefully others. That's led for how many times a year are you doing Popeyes?
not enough. Two
times,
maybe.
Yeah.
And it should be quarterly at the minimum. And same with my events, should be quarterly.
I mean, the brokerage. I've sort of at this point it's yin and yang throughout the years, but for the last 2 or 3 years, it's kind of been like 4 events. Like I've always taken pride in my events. And when I do one, and I'm going to be sending out the save the date for the Preakness party tomorrow morning, is I like to do my events really well, in my opinion. It's like I'd rather do less events, but do the ones that I do really, really well.
Quality,
I find 4 events is, with everybody having so much going on in their life, if I try to do too much, it's just going to kind of dilute them, and then no one's going to show up because it's like, oh, well, I'll just go to the next one because there's another one next month or whatever.
Right.
So I feel like there's like a, like if you're going to do a client party, I know some people that do 1 or 2, and then they filter in with, again, like 2, 3, 4 Popeyes throughout the year, and then other things, and it's like just enough to like not be overwhelming, but not to like that it's been so long they forget about you when they do
Right.
real estate.
Staggering
So it's
your
like
touches.
that fine balance between Popeyes, client parties, whether it's magnets. I mean, do you do any mailers or any things like that?
So
handwritten notes at holiday time.
I'm a big believer in the handwritten note. One
Yeah.
thing I actually just did also was I had.
Whenever I get a handwritten note, I'm always like, I love that person.
Nobody
I feel
does.
like,
I said, you know what I do?
A
I
lot
said
of people still do them. But
I send postcards when I travel. I'll go to a CVS or local, gift shop. I'll buy 10 or 15 postcards, and even if I write them when I get back home, I'll write it from the perspective as if I'm still in
there.
wherever city I was.
Yeah.
I get the best response. People post it on Facebook. Oh, thanks so much for remembering me.
From-
just a little thing that nobody else does. So
Yeah.
why not separate yourself?
You
And
have
I like
some-
to travel, so it's
You
part
have
of
some
my.
good travel trips. You're a road tripper with definitely a lot of you've covered a lot of the U.S.
I've covered
It's like, the US
45
camping.
states, 34 national parks.
Wow. Yeah. So you grab postcards at these different little stores,
Different places, and
that's
just
like something
thinking of
creative.
you, right? I might be traveling, but I've not forgot about you.
Yeah,
Right?
that's great.
Yeah.
And it's fun because then they get it and they post it or reach out to you and
Totally.
say that's awesome that you were in Yosemite or wherever.
Right.
Yeah, it's a great. I love the creative touch points that people come up with. Yeah, I mean, I just had somebody else on here and she was talking about like stuff that she does. I'm just like, that's like genius, you know. Yeah, I love that different sort of creativity. Anything like coming up on the horizon this year that you're doing differently that you're trying out that you haven't done?
I would say when I do meet with clients, I'm consistently now promoting that I'm offering listing video as part of my services, and then
Yeah.
I'll pull out my phone and show them a sample of one that I've done.
Gotcha.
I've also started doing some mailers where I've had listings. I'm trying to get to the point where I do have a listing coming up. We're now under contract, and then a third follow up. Hey, we got this for your neighbor. Just trying to hit neighbors, especially where the home values make sense to do mailers, like a personal mailing kind of thing.
Yeah.
I designed that in Canva. Canva's really added a lot to my marketing game and just the communications that I put out. I try to have a professional look to them.
Gotcha. All right. No, I mean, there's tons of great information. I appreciate you sharing everything. Any like real estate people you follow, or even outside of real estate, for inspiration and kind of keep you motivated, keep you on track, give you ideas?
So I would say I'm not a great follower of real estate people. It tends to be more things that are just going to give me energy, right? Or
Yeah.
positive messages or inspirational things.
Yeah.
What you put in, what you get out, there's a strong correlation. So trying to be intentional about what I do ingest and make sure that it's lifting me up and not pulling me down.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right. Well, if you got any questions for Graham, I'm sure you're open to
Reach out,
and
yeah.
reaching out or whatever. So I greatly appreciate your
Thank you,
time. Thank you. Our high five for the day. All right. Thank you guys for joining us. See you on the next one.